This week on TGC News, the FBI drops 40 cal, a ported M&P Shield, and I humble brag again. RE Factor Tactical now offers some of the most useful targets around. Whether it's the IQ, the kill zone, or the essentials target, you won't be short on drills to run at the range. To get 10% off your entire order, click the RE Factor link in the description and use the code TGC10. Welcome back. My name is Jon Patton, and before we get started, you need to go enter the first ever TGC Worldwide photo contest. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, go check out last week's episode. Now, this week's first story is about Smith & Wesson, more specifically the M&P Shield. Prior to the Glock 42 and 43 hitting the market, the Shield was the top dog. I was actually working behind a gun store counter when these things hit the market, and short of cheap AR-15s, I don't think I've ever sold more of a single model of gun than the Shield. They're slim, they have decent triggers, and they shoot fairly well. I'm not sure if this move from Smith is a bit of an attempt to regain market share from the Glocks or just sheer boredom, but nonetheless, they've released the Shield 9 and 40 in Performance Center versions that, in addition to fiber optic sights and a better trigger, are ported. The idea with porting is to help reduce felt recoil. Some of the gases are sent upward out of the barrel, much like a muzzle brake on your rifle. I think ported guns are a ton of fun to shoot, and I actually carried a ported XD9 for a while. That being said, there are concerns about flash. I actually made a video about the topic a few years ago, stating that with low flash defensive ammo, it shouldn't be an issue and could actually be compared to using a revolver for self-defense. You know, flash and flash, right? Again, that being said, the Shield already has a short barrel, and then they put a few holes in it. If anything is going to give you more flash, it's a gun like this. Another thing to note is that with the flash comes hot gases and debris. That's actually the reason I no longer carry the XD9 V10. When I was doing some up close and kind of down low shooting on a target, the gases actually got up into my eyes, kind of under my glasses, like a suppressor, and as far as I'm concerned, that's less than ideal for an everyday carry gun. However, that does not mean that the new Shields aren't going to be worth buying. I think it's just a matter of understanding what you're getting into. After all, they're Performance Center guns. They're going to shoot well. They all do. I've never handled or shot a Performance Center gun that wasn't tuned extremely well. And hey, maybe this is going to make the 40 cal Shield worth buying. And in 40 Smith & Wesson is a compromise that no one needs news. The FBI is switching back to 9mm. Back in 1986, there was a shootout in Miami, Florida that left 2 federal agents dead and 1 wounded, and the blame was placed on the under-penetrating 9mm ammunition they were using at the time. Not long after that, they switched to the venerable 10mm cartridge, which was later replaced by 40 Smith & Wesson. Well, with advances in ballistic technology over the last few years, the FBI has decided to switch back. They need the rounds they're using to be able to get to the vitals of a bad guy and stop the threat as quick as possible. That means that on top of their already stringent standards, they need something outstanding in the penetration category. Reports are claiming that they're moving to the 147 grain Spear Gold Dot G2 ammo. Essentially a blend of the original version of the Gold Dot and the Federal HST with an elastomer filling in the tip to prevent clogging. What's even more interesting about that choice is that in independent testing from trusted resources like Shooting the Bull 410 and TN Outdoors 9, this stuff sucked. Both those guys had issues with the rounds not expanding at all. It makes me wonder if the FBI is getting a different version that isn't available to the public. I would really like to see the FBI consider some of the new bullet designs that are coming out these days. I've seen some incredible things come out of manufacturers, and I would love one of our federal agencies to adopt such a thing. To give you guys a little insight, as part of my job as the owner of Patton Media and Consulting, I get to travel around with a high-speed camera and assist on video productions, with a large amount of that being ammunition testing. I've seen more ammo tested than some manufacturers have. The new stuff coming out these days really is impressive. Anyway, I'm glad to see the FBI coming around and moving to the 9mm again. What would you guys like to see the FBI carrying? Do you want them to go back to 10 mil or maybe even 40? Let me know in the comments. Every so often, I like to step back and kind of look at how things are going with the Gun Collective. This is episode frickin' 20. Holy crap, 20 episodes deep and we're still rocking. As we get closer to the end of the year, I think it's important to share things like this with you guys, the people that have a huge part in making TGC what it is. Plus, it's been a couple of months since I've taken the time to humble brag. First off, let me just say thank you to the crowd of regulars, both old and new fans. We're closing in on 10,000 subscribers on YouTube in quick fashion. To those of you on Facebook watching and Full30.com watching, thank you guys as well. It's really incredible. The response has been amazing from you all. The Gun Collective was launched on June 15th, about 5 months ago. It's been growing way faster than I ever anticipated, and I think one of the more shocking things is how many gun industry guys tell me they like the show. It's unreal to see who's watching. I do want to take a minute and address a question that I've seen come up in the comments a few times. It kind of varies, but the general question is, will you make the show longer? The answer is no. TGC News has always been and will always be a fast-paced, short-form show. That's what makes it great. There are some great content creators out there that make longer videos like Iraq Vet 8888 and Military Arms Channel, but I'm not one of those guys. Trust me when I say this, the show would get really boring if it were longer. Another thing I want to address is the people that are sad about my old channel, Chaos 311 Clarity, fading away. Guys, that was a big part of my life for 5 years. I mean, 5 years, okay? But it's time to move on to bigger and better things, and TGC is that. The last videos to ever hit that channel are kind of slowly being released over the next week or so. Sad face, right? Like I said, this is my life now. The Gun Collective is going to continue to grow and evolve. There's going to be more hosts and more shows. And guys, this is really the beginning. So thank you all for being a part of it. This week's friendly fire question is from William H. of Weapons Daily on Instagram. If you guys are on Instagram and don't follow Weapons Daily, you should change that. William asks, if you could only have one all-purpose caliber, what would it be and why? This is a tough one. First off, I don't think there really are a lot of all-purpose calibers. The closest we get to that is either 300 blackout or 12 gauge. The different types of ammunition available for both of those is pretty crazy. You know, supersonic, subs, all kinds of wacky, defensive rounds and things like that. And then you get into 12 gauge exotic ammo and it gets even crazier. But between those two, I'd pick the 12 gauge. Unlike the guys in the comments that crapped on shotguns last week, I love them. I feel at home with a 12 gauge in my hands. Those of you that have followed me for a long time know that. Hopefully that answers your question, brother. My friendly fire question to you guys this week: what caliber do you protect yourself with? With the FBI discussion earlier, I'm kind of curious. If you want your question answered right here on the show, you can post that over on Facebook.com/TheGunCollective or post it on Instagram and Twitter using #FriendlyFire. The Combat Wallet from Hellbent Holsters offers rugged simplicity for your EDC. Offered in small, medium, and large sizes, they've got one to fit your needs. Also available are these badass custom titanium money clips. To get 10% off your entire order at hellbentholsters.com, use the code TGC10. And that is it for this week's show. Guys, you know what to do if you enjoyed the episode. If you didn't, let me know down in the comments so we can talk about it. Do not forget to subscribe. You won't want to miss a single week. And as always, thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon. Hey, did you watch last week's show? Or maybe the one before that? And did you subscribe yet? You need to do that. Click right here to subscribe. Do it now.